For this video, we will be looking into VTubers and how I tried to make my own, but I cooked myself in the process. I always wondered how much time and effort goes into making VTubers. And I didn't think it was that hard, as an artist, you kind of have a little bit of experience. But I realized after this project, it is quite hard and it's not as easy as they make it look. There's just so much you have to learn, so many technicalities. So let's get into it. First, I did a little bit of research. Before I touched a single pixel, I did what any responsible person would do. I fell into a deep YouTube research hole. I watched design breakdowns, videos to figure out what actually makes a VTuber design work. Not just a cute character, but functional, drawable, animatable, a whole system I genuinely had no idea existed before this. There's this one video that really helped me break down the design part of VTubing. It basically became my Bible for this whole thing. I'll link it. The artist's name is Yume Kuzukawa. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but definitely check her out. She's very cool, very helpful, very nice video. It walks through exactly what I'm about to summarize. Keep the most interesting parts of your design up top, because that's what most people will see first. Make your silhouette recognizable. That's the second part. The third one, stick to a tight color palette so nothing feels incoherent. And then the last one, build something people actually want to draw for fan art. Simple, right? Basic character design 101. Apparently everyone but me already knew this. Except I am not that of a creative person, like at all. I sat there for way longer than I like to admit, just staring at a blank canvas and not knowing where to start with character design. But when I finally got something down, it came out looking as basic as it gets. But I was excited anyways, because after that much brainstorming, pain, sweat, and actual tears, I was just happy to have something. My character ended up being basically just my personal style thrown into anime form, my favorite colors, and the signature hoodie, because I have worn a hoodie every single day of my life since I was 12. So here's where I actually messed up though. I designed the character before thinking about how any of this is going to animate. And that's how I somehow ended up needing to figure out how to break apart a hoodie on a cardigan for Life 2D, and how is this going to even move in animation. Genuinely, I sat there looking at this one piece of clothing for way too long, wondering what past me was thinking, as well as trying to see if anyone else had a similar question on the internet, and no, they really didn't. The eye shape didn't work for animating either, and breaking the character into separate movable pieces was a nightmare, because I skipped the one thing every tutorial screams at you to do. Make a character sheet first, from all angles, from all sides, so you can see how it actually works, and if the graphic elements even work well together. And I know, this is common sense to literally anyone but me. Anyone who does character design anyways. I'm a go with the flow kind of person. I don't really plan, I just draw and figure it out as I go, and that has worked fine for regular art, and it did not work here, of course, because you need more extensive planning than just trying to figure out every step at a time. A character sheet shows you the whole design from every angle before you commit, because VTubers are animated heavily, and you kind of need to know how something looks from the side before you've locked yourself into it. It's basically one of those paper dolls you used as a kid, where you draw the outfit and cut it out and glue it onto the body. And of course have movable parts. Except I skipped straight to cutting without thinking how to cut it and how this would look on the doll later, if that makes sense. And doing a sheet like that also helps you realize which parts you actually need to cut for animating. I did not do that either, so I was discovering that in real time mid-drawing, which is exactly as chaotic and annoying as it sounds. Then we tried to animate at least one eye. And did you know how much time, energy, and sheer detail goes into animating one VTuber eye? The answer is a lot, an unreasonable amount. For VTubers, the eyes are basically the most important animation. That's where all the personality and emotion live. There's this artist named Hanakyu whose whole journey I watched. and her stuff is genuinely magical. It looks amazing. Like from animating shadows on pearls to different mouth shapes, she goes so in depth on every single detail. I'll link her too, and honestly, really go watch her before you watch this video if you really want to learn something about VTubing. You separate everything you want to animate independently. Iris from the eye, shadows from highlights, every layer its own puzzle piece so it can move on its own. And there's also a decision I hadn't even thought about going in: 3D or 2D. You can choose either one. I tried to do 2D in this video, but 3D is a whole different beast as well. You can build a 3D VTuber version, which gives you more depth on the whole character, and also maybe a bit helpful to make if you already have 3D animation experience, but you don't have as much control as you could have on a 2D version. In the 2D version, you have more control over the expressions and just the model in general. I have experience in either, so cool, that was amazing. In her videos, she tests out different poses and facial expressions before committing to anything, to see what actually reads well. Once your character's cut up and drawn, changing anything means basically redrawing it, and that is a proper pain in you know where. Also, only cut up what you're actually going to animate. Every extra piece is a future headache, and you can always cut more later. I did not know this going in, so I overcomplicated everything from the start for absolutely no reason. And there's no one-size-fits-all guide for this part either. If you're building from scratch, you genuinely have to sit there and think through what moves, what doesn't, and how, which sounds obvious saying it out loud now, but in the moment I was just clicking around hoping something would work. You also have to keep track of your clipping groups, because if you want proper detailed animation, your line art, color and shading details all need to be in separate layers. Or the other option, you just merge everything and go in with the lasso tool and manually cut what you need. Less elegant, but gets the job done. Okay, so I finally cut up my model, layered it, watched an unreasonable amount of tutorials at this point. I was happy. I genuinely thought the hard part was over, but it was not over, because now you have to export it into Live 2D program, and here's the part nobody warns you about. Your clipping groups do not carry over automatically, okay? You think you already did that work? Nah, you have to do this all over again, inside this program this time. But it's a lot easier though. You just copy the mask ID, paste it onto the layer you want it clipped to, one by one for every single piece. And only then you get to start animating. Except now I'm sitting there staring at a program I don't understand, tools with names that mean absolutely nothing to me, and genuinely no idea where to even begin. First thing you do is create mesh and textures. You can let the program auto-generate it, or if you're advanced, hand build a custom mesh for every single layer. I was obviously not advanced, so I hit auto mesh. Then you animate using a deformer and key points. And here's a fun one: if you don't set the key points, your mesh just won't show up. Which, okay, duh, logic, animation 101. But I learned that one after a solid of 10 minutes of why is this not appearing, why is it disappearing whenever I click on a different key point, and why, just why. And after all of that, I animated one eye, one badly mangled, slightly cursed, technically moving eye. And actually, you know what? I was really proud of it. Genuinely, I tried a couple more things after that, but I was on the free version of the program, so I hit the wall pretty fast. And if I'm being real, by that point, I also just wasn't enjoying it that much anymore. It's a lot of very fiddly, very repetitive work, especially as you need to repeat it also on the other side of the face. Also, apparently a huge chunk of VTuber creators learn this exact process through trial and error. There isn't some clean, definitive guide that covers all of it, and there is no VTuber animating school. You just have to learn all of this by yourself. Even putting together this one small piece took way more research than I expected. So if you're out there also breaking cardigan hoods and reclipping masks ID at 2 a.m., figuring it out as you go is honestly welcome. So here's where I landed. I came out of this with a genuinely new appreciation for artists who draw and rig full VTubers. Because if animating one eye was this much of a learning curve, I don't think I'm ready for the whole thing yet. Which means the next project is going to be a bit of a step down, but I'm not going to say it's easier. It's a PNG tuber instead. So let's do this by baby steps. I'm cooked, but learning. So see you in the next one and hope you enjoyed this suffering.